Hello and welcome again to any of you who've been following my videos on my channel. As many of you know, I do videos a lot on just commentary about things that are going on in my life, especially with regards to biblical issues. That's been one of the big things about my channel. Here lately, I've been really thinking about a certain verse in Scripture, Romans 8:28, and many of you are probably already really familiar with it. However, though, I think with regards to most of us, I believe that even though we can quote it, we may be able to believe firmly in it in public. When it comes to actually accepting it in our lives, where the rubber of our faith is going to actually meet the road of reality, we have a difficult time to accept it. What I want to do first off is just simply to read the verse, and I wanted to read it in the original Greek. As many of you know who follow my channel, I do like to follow Koine Greek, the original language of the Greek New Testament. And I would just like to read this first in the original verse, and then offer a translation and then a commentary on some of the things I've been thinking about. Romans 8:28. Oidemende hati tois agaposin ton theon panta sunerge eis agathon tois kata prophesin platois usin. Romans 8:28. And we know that to all those who love God, all things He works unto the good, to those according to His purpose, being called. In this verse, we're given a personal guarantee by God Himself that to each and every individual that loves Him throughout all time, throughout all circumstances, all things He will work together for good to those people who are called according to His own purposes, for His own reasons. This verse is been a stronghold for many Christians throughout time. But I know I'm not the only one in saying this. It's a difficult verse to swallow sometimes, especially when you have hopes and dreams and expectations where you think that things should work out a certain way and then they don't. Or you see someone else's dream and you set out to make that come to be your own, only to find out that's not what God has planned for you. It gets frustrating sometimes, I know, with a lot of us, because it's tempting to try and turn God into a personal genie and ask Him to do whatever you want, and then He'll answer that for you. But this verse, I think, lets us know quite clearly that we were saved according to His own purpose, His own counsel, His own will. He will use us for His own purpose, whatever that might be. All the things in our life work together for the good, His good. So that's something I think all of us need to think on and be willing to accept. And it's a daily struggle, something that we have to constantly work on. I know I do, but it's something that should be so. With this verse, there's always been two biblical characters that have come to my mind that I wanted to share with you. First off, I always remember Joseph in this regard. Joseph, just a young man trying to do what he was told. Yes, he was his father's favorite, probably had some faults, but his own kind sold him into slavery and eventually wound up in prison for something he didn't do. When he tried to get out of the circumstances that he was in, and he thought God had given him that opportunity to get out of it, he used the things he thought he could get out of those circumstances with, only to find out he didn't get that instant result he was hoping for. He had to stay in prison for more years after that, until eventually he was elevated and became the great second-hand man in Egypt and saved the world of his time. But sometimes I wonder what was going on through his mind when he was in prison like that, when he was in slavery, and how he was able to cope knowing this truth, no doubt, but trying to accept it in his life. Then there's also, I consider, Moses especially. Moses was saved from a certain death providentially, and God caused him to be raised up in the finest courts of Egypt, and was destined to be the next Pharaoh, no doubt. Yet when he thought his time had come to be the hand of deliverance for his people, and he tried to take advantage of it, it didn't work out the way he planned. Instead, he took a very, very long detour, a 40-year detour in the wilderness, alone, seemingly alone, while he was taking care of his father-in-law's sheep in the desert for 40 years, knowing all the things that were told about him and what he would do. He had to sit out there on the sidelines in the desert, just trying to make ends meet, until God in his time molded Moses to be that great deliverer and prophet and helper of his people that it was. I know sometimes in my life, and I know in yours also, when things don't work out the way they plan to, and we begin to question the truth of these verses, and we really begin to wonder whether or not we're ever going to make a difference. Trying to deal with this concept can be difficult. I know it is with me. So when you think about these things, when you have these thoughts running through your mind, I would hope you would remember, like I tried to remember, that we need to make the most of our opportunities. No matter what God gives us, we should take it wholeheartedly and do the best we can with what we have, because you really don't know what type of influence you're going to have on people, or how long those people will be in your lives. And truly it can be an emotional issue, but we have to keep going. And maybe God would see fit to use us in just a little way, so we can make the lives of the people around us that much better, and hopefully we can leave the world a better place. And when people think of us when we're gone, they'll remember that God used us to help the people that we came across. I hope my thoughts have been helpful to you. These are just some of the things that I've been thinking about. So may God use them as He's using these right now to help me keep on doing what I need to do. And I'm sure I'll still be learning these lessons throughout my life. May this video be a blessing to you, and may this video find you in good health and in good circumstances, and may your lives continue to go well. God bless.